So now I'll attempt to explain the final solution I came to the jetpack meter thing, and just to demonstrate, it works beautifully, exactly how I intended it to. So as you can see, we can just keep dropping and it refills at a steady pace, and it always works either way. Increase, decrease, all that good stuff. And the way it works is we have two separate values. One is fuel amount and fuel amount 2. The reason we need two separate ones is if these were both the same, then fuel time would freak out, because fuel time is defined as fuel amount divided by 25. So if I have 100 fuel amount, fuel time is 4. And if fuel amount was constantly updated, then fuel time would be updated as well, resulting in an exponential speed up of the depletion of the fuel gauge, which is no good. So we start by, we start with fuel amount, which is 100. We create fuel amount 2 as a consequence over the course of fuel time. So if we stop at 50 or whatever it is. And once that happens, we come out of this state and we tell something called the fuel actualizer to actualize the value. So what that means is, remember we had fuel amount 2 coming out of that state, so now that becomes replaced with fuel amount 1. Or rather, we make fuel amount to be equal to fuel amount 2. And then, once that's done, obviously we go back to the jumping state and all that. And over here we have the reverse of it, because this time we're calculating the refill. So for the refill we start with fuel amount 2, and we increase that to 100. We create fuel amount as a result, and it's going to take fuel time 2. And fuel time 2 is defined as, let me just double check. Yes, so 100 minus fuel 2 creates fuel amount 2 difference, and fuel time is fuel amount 2 difference divided by 25. So let's say fuel amount is, for example, 75. So we subtract 75 from 100, that's 25, which would make it so that fuel amount 2 difference is 25, and 25 divided by 25 is 1. And that's how we get fuel time 2. So the point is, from 75, it's going to take 1 second to go back up to 100, which is how you get this, which is how you make sure that this speed of depletion is equal to the speed of gain. Hopefully that makes sense. And yet the whole thing is just to do with two separate values having to be used, because we use those two separate values to calculate two separate times. One of them is how long it's going to take for the gauge to deplete, and one of them is to define how long it's going to take to refill.